Happy Mother's Day, and welcome back to another episode of the Almost Athletic podcast. This is episode 11. Some are calling it the Mike Conley episode. Some are calling it the Larry Fitzgerald episode. We'll talk about this a little bit later. Some may even say it's the Julian Edelman / Drew Bledsoe episode.
Nice
They had a big
foreshadow.
weekend. They had a big weekend over the weekend. I don't know if some of y'all saw the Tom Brady roast. I loved it. I didn't watch it live. I didn't even know it was happening, but I did watch the rerun on Netflix, 3 hours long, very worthy of 3 hours of your life. It is very funny. But Sumner, my co-host, is here with me, coming off a strong weekend. It was race weekend for you, Sumner.
Yes,
Fill me
sir.
in about that, because I haven't talked to you much about it. I know a few things,
I'm
but
ready to.
I want the full rundown.
I'm prepared to go off. I hope the listeners are ready as well. I had people at the race tell me, hey, content. This is all for content. It was not. I'll start this this rant off with a question. Joseph, how long do you think 18.5 miles per hour is per mile, minute wise?
Well, if 20 miles an hour in 60 minutes, so that's 3 minutes per mile.
Correct.
So 18.5, I'm assuming is like 321.
You're very close.
Is that right?
It's around 345.
Dang.
So I was calculating the math this fine Sunday, trying to figure out how many minutes an extra 2.7 miles on a bike ride added to my time of this Sprint Triathlon. So long story long, we started the race and I knew that if I competed well, I would have a chance to win my age group. And this was just confidence bias, probably. I didn't know anything about my competition. I just felt like there's 90 people here. They all look pretty old. So I'm assuming my age group is probably kind of lean. So let's go get on the podium. And so anyway, I was also the youngest age in my age group, 25 of the 29. So it was 25-year-old to 29. And so I was in the 25-year age group, even though I'm 24. And so get in the water. They said it was going to be a 580-yard swim. Joseph, guess how long that swim was?
Well, I mean, I saw it on Strava. Was it like 800 meters?
It was right at 800. As soon as I got out of the water, I sprinted to the porta potty to pee because I can't pee while I move for some reason. And it was like an extra 20 or 35 yards. And as soon as I got in the porta potty, I started my transition one watch time. So my swim was right around 15 minutes. I think it was like 15:20 something. I'll just pull up the stats here. It was.
And do you remember your estimates from last week too?
Yeah, I do.
Your predictions?
So it was, my estimate was under 10 minutes. And that was for a 550-yard swim. So this was an 800-yard swim. So that adds, some time, extra 5 minutes or so. But I will say, if it had been a 550-yard swim, I would have been under 10 minutes because my pace was 149 per 100. So would have been under 10 because 2 minutes would be.
That's pretty good open water pace.
Yeah.
149.
I was fired up about it. Good swim. Fine. Everyone had to do it. So I wasn't upset about it being longer. Everyone had to swim the same distance. Here's where we started to have some issues. So great transition, less than 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. I'm on the bike, just rolling. Popped a couple of these gummies that I had ready to go. Give me some sugar, put some on the stomach, electrolytes out the park. Get on to Walnut Grove. And for those of you who are Memphis natives, they know that Walnut Grove going north or going towards the river. There's a bridge that goes over Humphreys and right next to the hospital. And this is where things got dicey. So you go off the off ramp, and I need like a mic stand for this so I can explain it to you. But you get down the off ramp and there's a split. Now, one split goes like behind CBHS, The other split goes underneath the bridge and onto Humphreys. So right before that split is where they decided to put the sign that says Olympic to the right, sprint to the left. So I'm thinking the first split, I go to the left, which I did. I went to the left. Then there wasn't another sign there that said sprint left, Olympic right. So I follow the Olympic lane. The sign should have been after the split because there was another split right there where Olympic went back up the on-ramp on the other side going with traffic and kept going down back to Walnut Grove, away from the river. I was on the Olympic route going down Humphreys towards Kirby. And this is about a 1.3 mile addition. So I had to go 1.3 miles out, another 1.3 back to get back on the course. So I'm going down Humphreys and I call out to another guy across the way coming back. And I say, hey, man, is this the sprint route? And he goes, yes, this is the sprint route. So I'm like, fantastic. So I continue my pace. At this point, this is the flat part of the race. So I'm hauling. I'm going 20 miles an hour the entire time. And I'm like, this is great. I'm going to crush this. Then I get coming back to Humphreys. My eyes are looking for my brother, Baker, who was, 3 or 4 minutes behind me. And I knew that he wasn't right behind me because there's some distance between us. And so I'm looking for him, and I get all the way back to Walnut Grove and I don't see him. So I'm going up Walnut Grove, still haven't seen him yet. And I'm like, uh-oh, is what I thought. I'm cussing, man. I was mad. This is when I realized that I had done something wrong. And anyway, so I get all the way down Walnut Grove to Forest Hill Irene, which is off where my neighborhood is. So I turn right to go next to my neighborhood. And I saw, right when I got to Senga, I saw Nathan Rulof's. And I knew that was probably 15 minutes behind Nathan to go all the way down there and back. And I knew Nathan wasn't that far in front of me because he started, I think, two people after me. And so I know he was a strong swimmer, but I didn't think that our bike was going to be that different. I thought we were going to be kind of with each other. And so once I saw that he was that far ahead of me, I knew that Baker was also, ahead of me, as far as the course goes. So that's when I got really mad, actually. And then I turned on Forest Hill Arena and I see Baker and he waves and I wave back unwillingly. And so at this point I'm like, okay, now I just have to try to catch him. So I am probably 250 watts up the hills, down the hills, all the way back to go to Farm Road, turn right, all the way and back into the park for the transition. And I get off the transition to the transition line and I see my whole family sitting there. And they say, did you have bike trouble? And I go, no, I took the wrong route. And I was obviously very, very upset. And I said, how far ahead of me is Baker? And they said like 7 minutes. Okay. And so transition again. Transition 2 was, I think it was like 45 seconds. I was very fast in that one. My ride, official stats, was 19.15 miles. The race was supposed to be 16.5-ish. So that's an extra 2.65, 2.7 miles. And I did that in 62 minutes, an hour and 2 minutes, which would be even a 16-mile ride in an hour would be great. But I know that ride, by my math of this exact stats, would have been 56 minutes at the most. So maybe 55 minutes. So let's just say 7. We'll just give myself 7 minutes off of my bike time. So 55 minutes. And so anyway, transition, and then 3-mile run, easy peasy, 1 lap around the lake, all flat. Probably legs were a little more tired than they could have been after, doing an extra 3 miles instead of, 16.5. But that run took me 23 minutes and 54 seconds, 7:57 pace, right exactly at 3 miles. So can't say anything bad about the run. It was fine. And I finished the race very upset. I've never finished a race upset, which was an interesting feeling. Sorry. And so anyway, finished the race, get my thing. My brother says, hey, go get your print off your thing to see what you finished. I finished third in my age group, which me and Baker are in the same age group. So he's podium.
Out of
I don't, it didn't
how many
say.
people?
It didn't say, so I have no idea. But I saw, so we waited around for the awards because my brother was going to be on the podium. And the other two guys, from what I've discovered, I think that the guy who was in first was a 139, 138, 40, 139, somewhere around there. My final time was 145, 20, 21. So by my math, if I subtract 7 from that total, that leaves me at 138, first in my age group. And
Yeah,
I think I
that
have
hurts.
a legitimate claim to this because the guy who was doing the Olympic triathlon, he's like a pro triathlete apparently. He was in a group when we were cleaning out our transition area after the race. There was about 10 people in a group talking, and we walked up in this conversation, and I was talking about what had just happened. And they're like, "Did you do the wrong route too?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "This guy who was leading the entire race, not just age group, everybody for the Olympic. He was number 1 coming out of the water, number 1 getting on the bike, and did 31 miles instead of 25. He added 6 miles to his bike ride. 6. That isn't like how." And he was like absolutely livid. Another guy was saying he did an extra 4 on the Olympic triathlon or on the sprint. He did 4, not 3 like me. So I'm wondering where everyone got these.
What's the purse for this race? Like besides becoming being first,
I think it was all just
obviously
pride.
you want to win.
It was a pride purse.
Yeah.
I think it was just water bottles and an extra little token. I don't think there was any money on the line, but maybe a couple $100 for the overall winner. But yeah, dude. So
still though, like if they're training for that, I can obviously either way you're frustrated. If I'm in your shoes, I'm frustrated. And if that's like your primary race and you're racing that race to win, and then that happens, dude, I'd be raising hell. Which I think the good news for you is though.
Yeah.
I think the good news for you is this is just kind of like a byproduct of training. Like you're doing it for fun, so it's not that big of a deal, but still incredibly frustrating. And I don't understand how they have such poor signage out for this event.
The thing about that made me really mad is like, well, first of all, I've never like won one of these. Like I've never been like I'm out here to win this. At least in my age group. Like I've always been just like trying to beat myself like a time. Mm-hmm. So having like a chance to win one and like be on the podium was like something that was intriguing to me. And like I'd seen a couple weeks before Nate was first place in his. So I was like, I want to try to, I want to be on the podium for this race.
Yeah.
Because I knew I was.
That's interesting.
Like, go ahead.
I haven't thought about it like that. I've never raced a race to win either. I'd pretty much do it to beat myself or beat a certain time. But that definitely adds an extra element.
Well, and like I wanted to like to be able to be like first too is like because I knew like people do sprints that aren't training for anything. Like they just do them to get into triathlons. So like I knew I was in a good spot, and I also knew that I was like very fit. Like I felt great the entire time. Like other than like getting off the bike, my right butt cheek was cramping because my seat's so bad. I've got the stock seat still on my bike. I need to get like one that actually, is supposed to be comfortable. But like I felt great, and like I was just so mad because it was such a good opportunity. Like my race was over like 30 minutes into it. Like I knew that it was like just now at this point it was just a workout, which was a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
You're like at this point I just haven't like I have zero shot. So I was just competing with myself. I was like, if I can get my bike, that's an extra 3 miles. I was guessing, under an hour. I was like, that would be like pretty impressive. So I was just like hauling for like the last 10 miles. Once the math started not adding up in my head too, that's when I kept getting more and more mad. So anyway, I mean, it was fun.
Racing with vengeance.
Yeah, dude, I really was, and like I was just But anyway, I mean, my
any public statement yet by the people who put on the race?
I don't know. I think they should be fired. I think they should resign.
Yeah. I go back and forth. I know we poop on the lady who puts on all the events, but on the other hand, she does put on all the events.
Yeah.
The Memphis ones.
And she was actually talking to her about it. during the run, she was standing at one of the little turns, and I told her, I was like, and it was like kind of a weird thing where you like double back so you like could have a conversation with her. She was where she was standing, and I told her, I was like, I added an extra 3 miles to my bike ride, and she was like, "Oh, you're a sprinter?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm on the sprint." And she was like, "Where?" And I was like, "On the Walnut Grove Bridge. I went the Olympic route." And she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I was like, "It's not your fault. Like technically, it's not your fault, but like y'all have to have better signage. Like it's got to be like obvious which way to go."
Yeah.
And it wasn't just me that was having that conversation. I mean, everybody was. So, I mean, I think total it was like 15 people that did the same thing, if not worse.
Yeah. Well, at least you weren't alone in it. It would
Yeah.
be super embarrassing if you were, to be
That's why
honest.
that's the thing. That's why I feel like I can be mad about it. It's like it wasn't just me. Like if
Yeah.
it was just me and it was like very obvious and everybody was like, "Okay, like there's a massive LED sign that's like sprint, go this way." Then yeah, like I
Yeah.
even knew like I knew the course. My brother's like, "You should study the course." It's like I knew that we were supposed to go loop back under. But I mean, anything can change on race day. Like if that's just it said sprint go left, and I went left, and the sign was just in a really bad spot. So anyway,
Yeah.
I should next time. I
Oh
mean,
well,
I'm just go with my gut next time. So
yeah, you live and learn. I've never had a race where I've gone the wrong route, but I've definitely like seen where it could happen to someone because there are different turns and stuff for different distances. But I'm definitely going to pay more attention to it now and
yeah,
study the route beforehand.
yeah,
Not like I'm kind of over the top with studying the plan and all that, but
yeah,
I'm definitely going to try and mitigate that
yeah.
mistake in the
I will
future.
definitely do that again. I mean, man. So another question that I have for you: are you gonna do a race before the Ironman?
Yeah,
Which one?
I need to lock that down. Actually,
Let's
I was
do the
talking to Sam about it.
Forest City Mighty Might or whatever.
It's just so short. I want to do something longer. I don't want to pay for something I can do on my own at the
Yeah.
snap of a finger,
How long is that one?
A 3rd mile swim, maybe 15 miles biking, and then a 5K.
Hmm.
I need to do Sam wants me to do an Olympic. To be honest, I thought I would need to do a half Ironman, but I guess I don't. Also, that's more expensive to do one of
Yeah,
those.
for sure.
So I think the plan is to do an Olympic at some point this summer. There's a few races, and Sam has a few. One of his sponsors puts on events, and so we get a discount code through Speed Force Plug.
Nice.
So I've been looking into one of those, but I need to lock that down actually. This week I'll probably make a decision on that.
Yeah. Well,
So I definitely want to practice nutrition and transition and how I feel doing all the disciplines back to back to back.
yeah. I will say, positive of the race, my bike. I freaking love that thing, dude. I can just haul. Once I get aero bars on that, we're gonna be in business. That's for sure.
That's good stuff. I'm glad you like it. You paid a pretty penny for it, so you should like it.
Yeah. Less than I could have
except
paid
for that
though.
seat except for that seat post.
Yeah, I got to get rid of it. You go ahead. Enough about me.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that. Wish I was there to watch the race. My mom went to Shelby Farms to get a walk in. She texted me, "What's going on at Shelby Farms? Do you know anyone competing today?" I was like, "Yeah, actually, I do. You'll see Sumner and Baker out there."
Nice.
So yeah, that was kind of funny. But all right, enough about you. Let's talk about me. Um, this week was a big one, man. It was the biggest week of training I've ever done to date. Granted, it's only going to go up from here, but we did 15 total hours of volume. That's over 2 hours a day on average for all you people who can't do quick mental math. Distances, I'll go over those real quick. 24 miles running, like 8,800 yards swimming, 146 miles on the bike. With another milestone, the longest bike I've ever done to date was today. 60 miles. And it was brutal, man. I'm bogged down, to be honest. The past few weeks of training, I think, accumulated and hit me hard today, along with kind of a stressful week of school. That last hour and a half of the bike today, I was hurting. I guess some may call it a bonk. You ever heard of that phrase, bonking?
I have.
I think I experienced a bonk today for the first real time ever, like a bad bonk.
Yeah.
My legs I felt not powerful at all. I was in such a low gear for the last hour and a half. Also, mentally breaking that 3 hour mark on the bike. I did almost 3.5 hours. It was like 3 hours, 23 minutes. And I'd never really gone over 3 hours before. And I think mentally it was kind of crushing, but I got to get used to it. So,
You got to get ready.
I'm going to get ready. I mean, we're 4 months out, so I've got time. And I'm going to definitely get used to it, get the legs used to that feeling. But it was kind of a tough one today, if I'm being honest, but a big week nonetheless. Yesterday's run was incredible. It was almost 10.5 miles. It was 50 degrees out. It was a
Perfect.
zone 2 run. My heart rate stayed in the 130s pretty much, which is low. That's called zone 2 right there.
Absolutely.
Maybe even zone 1. I don't know what the zone breakdowns are. But yeah, it was actually nice yesterday. The one thing I'll say about this week though, so our coach Sam was in Knoxville on Tuesday and Wednesday. I showed him one of my staple routes on the bike on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we explored a new bike route and we went over to the pool and hit a pool session. Definitely helpful having him here teaching me my stroke. I mean, I've gone 3 years without any real criticism on my stroke. And so that was much needed. He taught me a few things, him and this other random old guy in the pool who kept on wanting to butt in. But I've definitely got some new form techniques to practice and hone in. But that was super helpful. The workout he had me doing, though, in Strava, it was titled, you heard me, 50 by 50. It was 50 yard repeats, which turned into 50 meters because this is what happened. We went to the outdoor pool because it was a nice day. About 15 minutes in, lightning. So we had to go inside. And the indoor pool right now, it's never set up this way, but it was set up long ways, 50-meter distances. And I've only swam that one other time. Only one other time in the past 3 years that I've gone to the pool has it been like that. And let me just say, it's way harder than 25-yard pool. Like I thought it would be better because the workout was 50 meters at a time. And so I could just go one down, get my rest, not have to worry about turning or anything. Yeah. But I have two hypotheses about why it was harder. One, the yards versus meters thing. Yeah. I know it's a slight difference.
It is.
But it's a difference. And I think I could tell just because I'm so used to the turn and the yards that getting towards the end, I was definitely waning a bit. And then also, I think I can't flip turn, but the turn helps more than you think because you kind of get that reprieve and push off.
Yeah.
But in meters, you're obviously swimming continuously until you reach the other end of the pool. But all those excuses to say it was a good workout, it was a productive workout. And at some point, I'm going to have to do 2.4 miles straight. So getting the kind of long course action was good and helpful.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, so how long did that take you?
Well, the thing is, I didn't even do all 50. We got to, I kind of got to a lull, and I was like, I've got 9 left. And he was like, just do a quick 100, like a pretty fast 100, and do 100 cool down, and let's call it, because I've got to drive home. And I was like, thank goodness, man. I didn't want to do 9 more of those 50s. So I was the end of my strokes became so weak, especially on my left side. I'm so much weaker on my left.
Yeah.
But my pool, I felt like I was going nowhere because he also had me doing it with paddles to practice form. Mm-hmm. And here's one thing I'll go into real quick. My right hand is really good about staying close to my body, barely off the water, good entry. My left arm is like a chicken wing. I'll do like a half pull and I'll bring it real wide and real high off the ground or high off the water and slap it on the water.
Yeah.
So I'm really focusing on keeping it tight, running it down my body, slightly off the water, smooth entry, and then pull the elbow, push.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the technique I was working on throughout those 50s, and it was new to me, so it was wearing me out.
Yeah.
But it was a really good workout,
Tell them
even
you
though I
need
didn't
some
do all of
more, some technique short swims coming up this week.
it. Well, yeah, the thing about the short swims though, I get like 5 seconds of rest, then I got to go again, so it's
Yeah.
basically a long swim.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it. I'm getting better, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, for sure. Well, golly, I keep hitting my desk. Yeah, nice week, man. I mean, I saw all your Stravas. I tried to give you kudos when I saw it. So, yeah, fired up for you. Glad we both had good weeks training, and that's a 25-minute training and a race update there for you. So enjoy that, listeners. Make sure to follow Almost Athletic Pod on Instagram.
Yeah, we try and get a little content out on there of
Yeah.
our workouts.
Hey, do you like my song choice for the edit?
I did. I thought it worked well. Thought you did a good job editing that.
Thank you. Quick turnaround.
I enjoyed watching it. Felt like I was there.
Yeah. Hey, shout out. You know who deserves a shout out?
Your
Shout
mother?
out to Laura Darlington and Ellie Grace Driver, formerly Darlington, because when I was riding down Walnut Grove, I looked to my left and I see Ellie Grace and Greg driving to Shelby Farms. So I catch back up to him on my bike, and Ellie Grace gets a nice little video of me, vertical, I will say, which was perfect, of me just hauling on the bike, and I was like, perfect. And then
That's good stuff.
Laura Darlington, shout out, Happy Mother's Day. And she videos everything, dude. So it was super easy for me to build that. Shout out to the film crew. But we'll move into. Did you feel like you hit on your fail to plan to fail, or do you want to go into that now?
Yeah, this is just more for me than anyone to remind myself. If you fail to plan to fail. My bike today, obviously had the big bike. I knew it was coming up. But this morning, woke up with no food to eat. Not my normal breakfast. I had a banana and I had to cook eggs. Also overslept an hour. What else happened? I knew I was out of gels, or only had 2 left. And 2 for a 3.5-hour ride does not cut it. Forgot to go get more. So I ate a Chewy RX bar, which was terrible to get down, and some veggie straws in a Ziploc bag is what I brought for nutrition on the bike.
Sick.
And then when I got back from the bike, I'm depleted. It's noon at this point. Hadn't eaten hardly anything all day. And I had no quick food to prepare. I mean, absolute failure of a plan this morning. So you live and you learn. And it's not even that. I've made that mistake way too many times before. I just get lazy on a Saturday. But future reference for myself, I'm saying it out loud for myself. Plan better for your big rides. They're a big part of the week. They're important. You've got to have nutrition and fuel for before, intra, and after.
That's
You
correct.
got to prepare better.
Dude, I have a quick product review also. So you're familiar with the brand Stinger. They're nutrition brand.
Yep.
So they make a product called these like Stinger gel, like Stinger gummies. And they have a caffeine gummy that is flavored in margarita flavor. And let me tell you, they are probably one of the best things I ate them like right after the race just because like why not? And they are so good. So I mean, literally like a 9.4 out of 10. Like could not give them a better review. And apparently they have like 150 milligrams caffeine. So
and I think I agree with you, to be honest. I may be venturing away from the goos and the gels, especially after I've had the Go gels, because they're more liquid. The gels and goos are so hard to get down. I'd rather chew on it like a gummy, like you have, or something that's more like an applesauce consistency.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm out of breath, I'm hot, my mouth is dry. Those gels are just really hard to get down.
Every other gel outside of the BPN gel doesn't taste like applesauce. It tastes more like a toothpaste type of like texture. The BPN one has a little bit of texture to where it's like it tastes like applesauce, or like it has that consistency, I do the VPN one I can get behind, but it is just so expensive. So
Yeah. The Sprint, I'm going to try Martin Gels next, I think, 'cause that's the official Ironman sponsor, I think, for gels on
make
Course
your life so.
Nutrition. And I think they're kind of liquidy. And then
Yeah.
the Spring Energy gels, which are very similar to the Go gels, IMHO, but also expensive. So I think I'm going to start branching out a little bit, trying a few new things.
Cool. Well, outside of the training world, we have the Tom Brady roast. The goat, the greatest roast of all time, I think is what they were
The
calling it.
greatest roast of all time.
I gotta tell you, I mean, probably funnier than any comedy special, any movie I've ever seen.
Ever?
Yes.
Shane Gillis stuff rivals it, in my opinion. I'm not a huge comedy guy.
That's
I don't really
true.
keep
That's
up
true.
with comics.
Yeah.
I've like Dave Chappelle, people always talk about him. Never really watched anything of him. Joe Rogan, never seen any of Joe Rogan's comedy stuff. Theo Vaughn, nope. Shane Gillis, I've seen his stuff. And this roast, man, hilarious. You weren't a fan of the Giselle slander, but
I just thought it
I
was like,
thought,
as a man, I would be like, I mean, yeah, she is, I guess, your ex-wife, but like, I mean, Kevin Hart really said it. I mean,
nothing was off the
on her.
They all did. It wasn't just Kevin. I think when
Yeah.
you text me, you had just seen Kevin's part, but then everyone went into it.
Yeah.
They got edgy. They crossed some line, or they dipped into some stuff I thought would be off limits, but I mean, I don't care. I'm not offended by any of it, so
Yeah, me neither.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. But
I don't. This being a PG podcast, I don't think we can really talk about the jokes specifically
the best one that
because
was
they're
PG,
pretty.
I think, was Nikki Glazer talking about Tom Brady's crypto. And it was like, Tom Brady, how do you lose $30 million in crypto in a crypto scam? Even Gronk was like, me know that's not real money. I thought that one was one of the funniest jokes of the night. Like, that is hilarious.
Yeah. Poor Gronk. He at points he didn't even look like he was having fun because he was just getting flamed for being dumb.
Also, Drew Bledsoe was hammered. Did you see him towards the end of it? He was, wow.
To be honest, I still have like 45 minutes left.
Okay, yeah.
But
Towards the end of it, he is messed up.
yeah, well, I can imagine they were all up there. He was sipping his wine that he kept on plugging.
Yeah, hey, good for him.
Here's my question though. For Tom Brady to do that, how much would he have to get paid? Because he got absolutely flamed.
Yeah.
Do you think he did it for the money, or do you think he did it because it's like a status thing? He is the greatest football player ever, and getting roasted is like a rite of passage almost.
Yeah. I think that he did it so that everyone in the celebrity and sports and pop culture world could call his ex-wife a cheating person.
Dirtbag.
Yeah, a dirtbag. I think that's the reason he did it.
Really?
I don't think he
Okay.
cared about any of those jokes. I think he just wanted it publicly known that his wife stinks. But no, I bet he got paid quite a bit.
Well, yes, but what's the number? I mean, he's so rich. And one thing I saw is, I don't know how this is possible, but apparently Giselle's net worth is $100 million more than Tom's. And that makes him mad, and he wants to surpass her. And this obviously helps his brand. People go look up his supplements or whatever, and if he gets paid for it, TB12, all that stuff. So I'm wondering if he did it for that, or if, like you said, he just wanted his wife to be publicly bashed.
I just Googled it just to see if we could find a number, and I'm not seeing a number immediately, so I don't think it's public yet. But we'll monitor that. We'll update the people when we know.
I wish I was there live,
dude.
Because it was like no commercials either. It was straight.
Yeah. Yep. I thought that was funny when Ron Burgundy was saying Giselle.
Dude, that cracked me up too. He goes, "Hello, San Diego."
No, he said, like, "What's up, Radio City?" He was like, I was over at LaGuardia this morning. It's like it's in Inglewood, California.
He was hilarious. The Giselle thing did make me laugh too.
I love
Tom. How do you pronounce it? Jaziel?
Giselle.
And Tom does this with the open hands. He's like, you don't even know.
Yeah. Well, they need to do more of those. I mean, maybe put like let's throw out. You give one person one goat that you think would be awesome and would actually do a roast. And then I'll give one too on the spot here.
Oh, I'm trying to think of people who have stuff that can be easily made fun of. Like Tom had a lot of easy stuff.
Yeah,
Like Peyton Manning, for example. I mean, his forehead.
I think they've already done him.
What else? Really?
Maybe. I don't know. I know he's been on several. The first person that comes to mind immediately is Tiger Woods for me.
Tiger Woods and LeBron, both of them, please.
I don't
They
think
need to be flamed.
I don't think either one of them would actually do it. Somebody brought up Michael Jordan. He wouldn't do it. Michael Jordan would punch somebody on stage. Maybe
Yeah.
Tiger Woods too, but Tiger Woods has a lot
Tiger,
there. And
he's got a lot of
LeBron as
content.
well. Yeah.
And LeBron,
Yeah.
the what is it? Just the liar. He is it like a compulsive liar. All
Yeah.
those books he's read.
I could see maybe
That
like Jay Leno doing it, getting one. I'm trying to think of like some other like famous people in their profession. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Cristiano Ronaldo. Oh, David Beckham. That would be a good one. A lot of
Did you
people
watch
like
that?
David Beckham.
Did you watch that Netflix stuff?
I did. Big
His
fan.
documentary.
Yeah, it's good.
I watched like I watched one episode. He got married to that one girl. That's all I know.
Posh Spice. Well,
Yeah.
we'll move on from that, but good stuff there. All right, we're gonna play a little game here. I've seen this little argument bouncing around the interweb this past week, so it's time for a little this or that. So it's almost time for your vacations coming up, summertime. So Joseph, are you a beach guy, a lake guy, or a mountains vacation guy, and why?
Okay, wow, this is a new question. I've never thought about this, never heard it before. Golly, yeah, good question.
A lot of times people just say beach or mountains, but I'm throwing lake in there because lake should be thrown in there.
Well, I'm not going to directly answer the question. I'm going to beat around the bush for my answer. I am a proponent of visiting new places. So I don't really side with any of these. I just want to visit places I've never been before. On my bucket list is visit all 50 states, visit every continent, including Antarctica. So I want new experiences. I want to see what each place is about. So I don't want to keep on going to the same beach or same lake or same mountains every time. I want to visit all the I don't know if all the national parks. A lot of them. I enjoy doing that. There's a time and a place for the beach, little relaxation, getaway.
I think you're reading. I'm going to cut you off. I think you're reading too far into it. I think I'm going to hold your feet to the fire here. You've got to pick beach, lake, or mountains. You have 4 days vacation. You can't go outside of the country. You've got to go somewhere. You and one friend.
Well, let's say if I had to choose one for the rest of my life, if I had to choose
just
one
for your next, we'll say just for your next vacation.
Oh well.
I don't know. Actually, no. You have to pick one indefinitely. I don't know. You should answer it. I don't know. Which one do you like the best? When you go to them, which one do you like the best? This isn't saying that you're never going to go to another one again. It's just if it's up to you. You get to pick where you're going on vacation. Are you going to the beach, the lake, or mountains?
At this stage in my life, probably the mountains, because I am young and healthy and I can hike and I can explore. So for instance, in 2 weeks and 1 day, I will be in Springdale, Utah on the footstep of Zion National Park. So we're going out west, exploring a little bit out there, going to hit Zion and Bryce Canyon, and then cap off the week in Vegas.
Nice.
But so yeah, right now I'm choosing the mountains because it's a new place. It's two new national parks. Good place to explore. Very pretty. Get some hiking in. So I mean, I guess my answer is the mountains if you phrase it that way.
It's a good answer. Good answer. And I'll just say this: mine's not the beach. I hate sand. So even though I'm going to the beach in like a month, it's just where our family goes to vacation. But I'm a lake guy. I love the lake. I love everything about it. I like the country music. I like the weather. I like the water splashing, hitting you in the face. I like surfing. And I mean, I'm down to go to the mountains, but I'd rather it be cold. Like, I don't want to go to the mountains and it be hot, really. I'd rather it be cold. But nine
Well, that's
times
the
out of
thing.
10,
That's
I'm
the thing
picking the
about the
lake.
mountain. That's the thing about the mountains. It's never really hot because elevation.
Yeah,
I mean, the summer gets hot, but
true.
it usually drops down to pretty cool temperatures in the evening and doesn't get crazy hot in the noontime,
Yeah,
afternoon.
yeah,
But either way, obviously can't go wrong with any of the three. Each
yeah,
of those have a time and place.
for sure. It's a good debate. It's a good debate. A lot of people are
Hey,
beach people.
one thing I'll say about the lake, maybe one of these days I'll fund or be the one that hosts people at the lake, but I'm glad I'm not right now. So many things to take care of and
Yeah,
pay for that I think goes unrecognized a lot of times whenever you go to the lake.
yeah.
Boat, gas, housing, food,
We have a little
all the stuff.
agreement in with the second generation of Darlington kids in my family, that we'll all kind of split. Like, I want to buy the boat. That's the thing that I want. I think I would love to be
Why?
I would
That's the
love to be the
biggest
captain.
expense.
No, the house. The house is the biggest expense.
Oh yeah, but I guess as far as maintenance and upkeep, I mean the house obviously, yeah, but I guess if you take the house out of it, you have
Yeah,
to have
but
a
so
house.
everybody's got to pitch in.
Obviously, yeah, but pitching in a house versus a boat,
Baker's buying the house.
that's a
I'm buying the
big
boat. Ellie Grace is getting all the food and she's in charge of all that.
wow, okay.
But
Interesting agreement there. Baker gets
I want to be the
shafted.
captain. I always want to be on the aux. I want to play my music, my country music. I like listening to Kenny Chesney on the boat. He is the GOAT when it comes to boating. Boat and beach, Kenny Chesney can't be beat. So
Some may say.
some might say that's the rumor on the street. All right, that's a good pod. 42. Got to go. What are you doing for Mother's Day? You going to FaceTime your mom? You call your mom today?
Oh yeah, I called her already.
All right, good deal.
She heard from me today.
That's good. That's good. All right, for our good word, we're shouting out the moms out there. I think this goes unsaid. Without mothers, none of us would be here. So,
Wow, profound point. I like that. You gotta have them.
can't come into this world without them.
That's right. Shout out, love you, mom. I know you probably got to the end of this podcast because you listen to every single one.
Yeah.
Shout out you. You're the best.
Love you, mom. Shout out to mom as well. All right, Joseph, we'll see you next week.
See ya.